All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 433 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And what a difference a year makes. You know, when we were 2 games in last year, we were really trying to find our way. We just got finished beating Gardner-Webb. And I think, I can't even remember. Just the whole memory of that season is just gone because I don't remember who we played next. I just don't. So, well, I know it just wasn't feeling this good. And it's just a beautiful thing how things are going. We have a coach here and Coach Helton and his quarterback, Kyle Vantrease, really setting the tone for this entire football program. And it's a beautiful thing to see. We're going to talk about that today and everything under that umbrella because I cannot stop being so excited about what is going on here at Georgia Southern. We're going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to talk about how well that can flourish down the road for years to come, how much this could be a program building beginning for Georgia Southern. And I know that sounds weird because program building Georgia Southern, we don't need it. Trust me, there's levels to this and we can take it to another level if things continue to go the way it go. If this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Once again, I am on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you want to watch me on YouTube and Rumble, the options are there as well. Just type in First and Frame Rates. I will pop right on up. Once again, I love the game of football. I love it. I love it a lot. And I love football when it's running properly, no matter who the team is. I just think when plays are executed, offense or defense, it's just a beautiful thing to see. It's just even sweeter when it's your team. It's even sweeter when it's your team is actually putting things together to make that team look as pretty as it is on the field. Even with all the grit, the struggles, the guys getting, dirty, tackling, hitting, they're actually getting, messy out there on the field. It's still a beautiful thing. I feel like this is one of the most beautiful sports in the world, if not the most beautiful sport. And when you have coaches, when you have a staff, when you have players that play the game the right way and do things not only just from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, it's a beautiful thing to see. Now, a lot of fans come through and want to watch the football games for the excitement. And and don't get me wrong, I'm here for that as well. I think that's one of the factors I love watching. But when the mental game is put on display, it's something that you have to really learn to watch in real time. And sometimes you have to learn to watch and see what's going on when you go back and watch the game again. I went back and not only looked at this game, Georgia Southern versus Nebraska, I went back and looked at the game against Morgan State. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know the full relationship between Coach Helton and Vantrease, but you can tell that there's something there that these guys are on the same page. And I'm not going to throw anything, from Brian Ellis. I'm not taking anything away from him because Brian Ellis has a lot to do with this being an offensive coordinator. But with Coach and his philosophy, always want to be extended on the field. You always want a player that can extend that philosophy on the field and have someone that can not only just go out and execute what the coach wants you to execute. You want a guy who can improvise based on knowing what he knows, what the coach would think in that situation. Kyle Vantrease done this various times against Nebraska. He done it a few times against Morgan State. The touchdown to him, from him to Amari Jones, beautiful. If you see how he directed traffic to get those guys in position once he saw what the defense was giving him, that's an extension of what the coach wants to see, or an extension of what the coach would think. The runs from Gerald Green, especially the touchdown run from Gerald Green, when he just went from through the middle and he cut to the right and was gone up the sideline. That was based on adjustments from what Kyle Vantrease saw. And there's other things that you could say that has happened throughout the game. But when you have a relationship between a coach and a quarterback, those things are, those are things you can't really, purchase. You can't buy that type of that type of relationship. Those things just are created. Now, I don't know like I said, I don't know the relationship between these two, but he picked Vantrease for a reason to come down here to Statesboro, all the way from Buffalo, by way of starting out in Ohio, because he's from Ohio. Because when he saw something, because the first thing I thought personally, we needed a quarterback. Coach Clay Helton came here. I thought he was going to try to get JT Daniels. That was his guy. Honestly, I thought he was going to get JT Daniels. But that was far-fetched at the end of the day. It really was. I did a video about that, and people, Georgia Bulldog fans, tried to roast me for that. Like I'm getting roasted now by Saints fans for this Atlanta Falcons loss, but I don't want to talk about that right now. That's another story for another day. But when he picked Kyle Vantrease, I was like, okay. I looked at some of Kyle Vantrease's numbers. I was like, all right, he was at Buffalo. I don't know what kind of talent they had at Buffalo, but okay. We'll roll with it. Then I started hearing rumblings about how well Kyle Vantrease could catch on to this offense, how well he can be in sync with what they're doing. Clearly, Kyle Vantrease is the best quarterback that's in the recruits and the transfers of all the quarterbacks we got. We had like 6 quarterbacks, and I think 4 of them was like recruited or something like that. I started hearing rumblings of that. Then I saw the spring game. Then I saw the scrimmages. Then I saw what happened in the Morgan State game. Now, I ain't going to talk about that first quarter. Don't want to talk about that first quarter. That was kind of bad, Kyle, but you turned it up and you made it right. But when you look at everything that was done from that point on, whatever Coach Ellis and Coach Helton is putting into Kyle Vantrease to execute, you start to see it. And this thing was a beautiful thing to see. I was absolutely, I think my light's going out, but that's another story for another day. I'll fix that. That was an absolute masterpiece to see those things come to fruition. And that's what you want to see in a coaching quarterback, relationship. You really want to see that in all aspects. I mean, you could go into other sports that, we have a point guard and a coach, or in baseball, if you have a pitcher and a manager, or anything of that nature, or like on defense, if you have a defensive coordinator and his middle linebacker or whoever the leader of the defense, you want that guy to be extension of the philosophy that you put out there. I think I talked about that with Dean Pease and his rant that sounded good at one point, but now it's starting to fall flat a little bit because I really don't want to talk about the Falcons. I really don't. Oh my God, I really don't. I'm gonna have to talk about them sometime this week, but I don't want to talk about them. But this perfect pigskin relationship is a beautiful thing, and I think it's going to give us a lot of success throughout this season. These two guys that I got on the screen here, if you're not watching because you're listening to this on the podcast, if you see these two guys, Vantrease, Coach Clay Helton, quarterback Vantrease, these two guys here are showing, Georgia Southern fans, what it's like to have a quarterback that can actually command an offense. Not saying that hasn't happened before, because I don't want to throw shade to any other quarterback that we had prior to Vantrease, because I've seen it happen as well. I've seen Shy Works do some nice things, communicating with his coaches, and I've seen Jason Foster do some things. It's my favorite Eagle. I've seen some other guys do some things. J-Bo Shaw's another one. But when you see a Kyle Vantrease and you're watching this in real time, when we're all sitting back being nervous, we're all sitting back wondering, we're all sitting back worried, oh my goodness, what is Georgia Southern doing right now? Can they pull this off? And you see them put up 45 points against Nebraska. You see them put up 59 points against Morgan State. You see us having optimism going into Birmingham and playing UAB this upcoming Saturday. You see these things, And it's just a beautiful thing because it just happens on a whim. It's something that continuously surprise you from a program that's known for running the ball and being smash mouth, blue collar, in your face style football. It's a type of team to go into something like this where we're still, pushing guys around, getting in their faces, but this time we're doing it with the passing game and it's working. It's so many factors to this, to the point where we're like, this is unreal because we're not used to seeing anything like this. But it's also unreal because it's still a lot of unknown for Georgia Southern fans. Don't get it twisted. We love what we see here. But even after 2 games and what, all these points have been scored within the last 2 games, it still seemed unreal to us. I know there's some Georgia Southern fans probably feeling like when the shoe was going to drop. And I'm not talking about the triple option brigade. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about like regular fans like, is this too good to be true that we can have a quarterback to throw over 400 yards possibly consistently throughout the entire season? This is unreal. We're completing passes. And some of the passes that Cal Vantrease is he's completing are phenomenal throws. Him and Jeremy Singleton, which is another type of extension of a relationship right there. The passes that he's throwing to Jeremy Singleton are absolutely phenomenal. The back shoulder, the unstoppable back shoulder throws that Vantrease is throwing to him are amazing. The over-the-shoulder catches by Durham Burgess. The over-the-shoulder catches in the screen passes by Caleb Hood. Caleb Hood had a very nice diving catch, but Caleb Hood has been known to, get in space off of the screen and make things happen. And did you see that catch by Jalen White? I mean, look, I don't know how he caught that ball, but he caught that ball. I mean, in the way that Vantrease throws the ball is just perfect passes. It's just a thing that you look at and be like, wow, this is amazing. But Coach Clay, this is all the work of Coach Clay Helton. This guy is coming out to be a huge motivator. He says the right things. He makes these kids want to play and win for him. And it all starts with the relationship he has with him and his quarterback. And everything else just trickles down. Once the quarterback gets the signal and he leads by example, it just goes to everybody else on the team, and you're seeing it. The discipline on this team is amazing. 3 penalties. Look, we had 3 penalties in a hostile environment of 85,000 plus people wearing they're literally wearing the opposite color of what we're about. 3 penalties for 15 yards. Disciplined football. But like I said, it all starts with the coach, the coaching staff, what the coach and the coaching staff implements into the quarterback implements it to the rest of the players, and it just spreads like wildfire. And before I close, I want to say this before I get out of here. People wanted to doubt this whole situation with Coach Clay Helton. Once again, you don't win a Rose Bowl by just lollygagging around in the Pac-12. You don't have a winning record at USC, although I know USC has high standards, but you don't have a winning record at USC by lollygagging around. There's something special about this coach. There's something great about this coach. And maybe he needed to be in a place like Georgia Southern to actually show the world, show the nation. I'm going to at least say the nation, because people's eyes open when this Nebraska team lost to us. So maybe he needed to be in this area, be in this place with this school to open people's eyes of how well of a coach he is. Do I think he's a great coach? I'm not there yet, but he's a damn good one. And he's showing it. He's shown it ever since he walked on Georgia Southern campus in November of last year. When I saw him step off that plane and he had that press conference and the way he carried himself and the way that he was talking, I was sold. Because to me, I didn't feel like it was a PR stunt. I really feel that this guy, this man, this coach cares about what he's doing with this program. Jared Benko, I have to give him a lot of credit. He's another, guy who came here and turned a lot of things around. And it all trickles down. I would not be surprised if some of his philosophy and the way that he likes to do things trickle down to some guys on his staff. And when they're able to get a coaching position, those type of philosophies and that grit and that, that motivation will run through them as well. And they can be successful with their own style and their own mix of things within their careers. There's nothing like having what we have here. I think we are very fortunate to have what we have with Coach Clay Helton and quarterback Kyle Vantrease. I think we have something really, really special here. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm definitely going to enjoy it while it's here. This is a program building situation right here. This is program building. This is where you see if whoever's under him, whoever has this mentality, whoever possesses this type of mentality, who wants to come to be a coach at Georgia Southern or just be a player at Georgia Southern, it's going to continue to build on what we have now to 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It just works that way. It works that way. Look at all these other programs that has gone through that. It just happens that way. I don't know what else to say. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What do you guys think? I think we have a really good connection right here. Coach Clay Helton, Kyle Vantrease, this is his last season of eligibility, but I'm going to enjoy the rest of this as much as I can. We got 10 games left. Hopefully everything just continues to go well. Didn't get anything, before I go, I didn't get anything notified to me about Sam Kinison. Hopefully that things are going well with him. They're going to do an MRI on him. It don't look too good, but we'll see how that goes. But congratulations, man. Congratulations to the Georgia Southern Eagles. We deserve this. We've suffered a long time, and we finally got things together to where it's something we can be happy about. Hopefully it continues to grow and hopefully it continues to get better. Later on this week, we're going to talk about UAB. I had to talk about the Falcons as well. I don't know. But I'm going to get out of here. I got to go. I've said enough. You guys take it easy. Enjoy your Tuesday. And one step closer to playing UAB. You guys be easy and you guys be blessed. Peace.